everyone. I did a live on last Tuesday in Portuguese, and now it's time to do the same live, the same theme in English. so, for anyone that is new here, I'm going to introduce myself. I'm Rita Avelar. I'm a health coach certified by the Institute of Integrative Nutrition here in US. Originally I'm from Brazil, from Rio, the beach city, and but I live here in Indianapolis currently. Today I want to talk about something that I always talk with my clients about it, which is you are your best doctor. And what that means. That doesn't mean that you don't need a doctor, of course. And that doesn't mean that I don't like doctors. I do like. But that means that you are the only person responsible to know what is going on inside of your body. Excuse me. Let me get some water. So you're the only person responsible to know and understand the signs and the signals inside of you. So and when you go to a doctor, actually you need to have some things written down. You need to know what is going on so you can explain the doctor. So that's why I'm saying that you are your best doctor, because if you go to the doctor and if you don't have like any tests, so he could look and understand what is happening inside of your body. He only has your symptoms, and your symptoms, it's your job to listen and to understand some of your symptoms, because sometimes it's even hard to explain what is going on inside of you. But once you start understanding better the signals and listen more to your body, you're going to understand what is going on inside of you, which is, like, again, it's hard for a doctor or anyone who's taking care of you to understand better than you. So and with that, I'm going to give you 5 tips to start listening to your body and activate your inner healing. And then before all these 5 tips, I want to share a little bit of story of me with what happened with my journey. And actually this journey, it's the reason why nowadays work as a health coach. So I had a really, really hard childhood. That means that I was really, really, really sick all the time. That started around when I was 7 years old. I started having pneumonias, and the pneumonias I tried to treat, and it supposedly was healed, but then it came back. So because of that, I had in a total of 9 pneumonias in 2 years. So between my 7 to 9, I was this sick person having these 9 pneumonias, one after another, and I was always sick because I was with fever. I couldn't breathe properly. I was always with no energy at all. So I was a sick girl. And there was a time that I remember I was so sick that I couldn't go to school for 2 months. And I remember the teacher, she asked all the students to write down letters to me. And I remember reading all these letters. And even if it was amazing, receiving all these letters, all this love from my colleagues and my friends from school, it was hard also to understand that I was a sick person, that I was a sick girl. So that made my mind think that I was this sick girl. So and one important thing, I'm doing this live right now. Just start watching it. You can watch in the beginning of it, but I'm gonna ask you a big favor. If you're watching, please like this live give you some heart, give some sign here that you're watching, or leave your comments, because once you start liking the video, or sending some reactions, or sending some comments, this live is more shareable, and more people can listen to this message, and maybe I can help more people with this message. So please show your love, give me some likes, send me some comments, and if you wanna have like any questions or doubts regarding to this subject I was talking about, just leave it here, because I can answer in the end of this live. And if I read after the live, I can answer and tag you so you can have your answer. So like I was talking before, I had this really sick childhood. I was this sick girl. I had 9 pneumonias between 7-9 years old. So I was considered this sick girl, and I was listening to everyone around me that I needed to be careful with everything. So I remember like going out with my family, and it was a little bit chilly out, and Rita was the first one, put the coat on, protect your neck, protect your chest. And I was like, Rita, you need to eat better. I was always this person that always received the first advice when it comes to health, because I was the sick person and nobody wanted me to get pneumonia anymore. So, and also because of the pneumonia, actually my parents, they tried to treat me as natural as possible in the beginning, but it reached to a point that I needed to take antibiotics. So I took antibiotics like my entire life, basically. But especially during this time of the pneumonias, I had to take like a lot. And of course, because of this big amount of antibiotics, I developed other diseases and other disorders in my body. And then after, this really dark period of these 9 pneumonias, I also developed other diseases. And then after, I developed like allergies and all the weird things you can imagine. So I was always considered this person with weird diseases, that I used to call as the girl in the bubble, that I needed to be in the bubble to protect myself from the environment, because the environment was so dangerous for me. So, and also if you go and see some of my pictures when I was 7 to 9 years old, when I had these 9 pneumonias, I was this girl with no, glow. I have this really sad and sick face. So I also, I incorporate that for a long time in my life. I was feeling this person kind of sad and and not confident because of all these diseases. So that also built kind of my my identity for a certain time in my life. So I believe I was a sick girl, that I was so fragile, that I need to be protected all the time. And because of that, it developed other issues too. So and how I changed from this sick girl to a health coach, and also healing myself, just listening to my body. So my journey actually began when I was around 12 years old, 12 to 14 years old, when I got really interesting about nutrition. And then I started studying by myself, and I started using nutrition and food to heal myself. And of course, later in life, I was understanding better the holistic approach, which is connecting the physical body, the mind, and the spirit all together. So that's actually the approach I use with my clients. So and then with all that, with all these, what happened to me when I was a kid, and then what I was studying by myself when I was a teenager, nutrition nutrition and how can food can heal my body. Later in life, much later in life, I was working with another thing. I wasn't in the health coach field, nothing like that, but I was still really interesting on the wellness and the health area. But I was working in another thing. I started studying to be a health coach, and I was already in my path, in my journey to listen to my body, understand, and I wanted to give like an end to all these really weird sickness and diseases and disorders I had in my body. Every year had like a new thing going on. And then and one of the things that is one of the most, maybe one of the most important tools is to listen to your body. So that's why I got these 5 tips together to help you. And if you identify with that story, that having a sick childhood, or you're sick during a time of your life, and that kind of became your identity, like, oh, I'm a sick person, I can't even, be outdoors and then get sick. If you identify with that, listen to these 5 tips, because you're going to activate your inner healing. And with that, you can simply get better, at least better, to really heal. So listen to these 5 tips. So before listen to these 5 tips, I'm gonna ask you again, if you're watching here this live, please send your likes, your heart, leave your comment. Even if you're watching after the live, it's okay to leave your comment here, because I can answer your comment, your doubt, your question regarding to this subject, or even other subjects if you wanna leave any questions here. Once you do that, it helps me to promote this video, and once I promote more this video, I can reach more people and help more people. So here we go. Let's go to the tips, the 5 tips. So tip number 1, I have everything written down here. So the number 1 is I'm talking about listening to the signs of your body. But again, like I mentioned here, my approach is a holistic approach, connecting the body, the mind, and the spirit. So since that, I cannot leave behind your mind. So the first tip actually is to pay attention to your mind. That means paying attention to your thoughts, paying attention to what you're thinking about yourself, what you're thinking about your life, and all this thinking, what it is in your mind. Because like I was talking about my childhood, because I was always sick and I was receiving this feedback from everyone, like, oh, Rita, you should be careful, put some coal, protect your neck, you need to eat better. So I identify myself as a sick person. And once you start identify yourself as a healthy person, person that is just having sometimes something out of order, something that is not balanced, but you're healthy, you're born healthy, and you are healthy. If you identify with that thought, that will start to change. So one of the first thing is to start identifying your thoughts and identify your unhealthy thoughts about yourself. So that's the tip number 1. Write it down, or take a moment, close your eyes, breathe deeply, do some meditation, and understand what is going on in your mind, and what kind of thoughts, what kind of thinking you're having that is creating this unbalance, that is creating this unhealthy identity. Okay? So tip number 1, tip number 1, your pain, it's your pain, right? What you feel is what you feel. What that means with that, I know sometimes when we go to a doctor, we go to an emergency room, they ask you, what is your pains from 0 to 10, and then you have to identify. That's okay, but your pain is your pain. Sometimes my pain number 7 is different than your pain number 7. So what is your pain? It's your pain. And then you have to understand what is comfortable for you and what is not comfortable for you, what is bothering you and what is not bothering you. Once you connect with your pain, and also with the tip number 1, understanding the thinking and the thoughts in your mind that is creating this unhealthy body, you're gonna understand that also the pain is more deep than just the physical pain. It's mental pain and sometimes spiritual pain too. So don't compare your pain to the other person, and don't let anyone compare their pains with your pain. Your pain is your pain. And identify your pain, understand your pain, and think about it, why I have this pain. And sometimes just with this kind of exercise, the pain goes away. Actually, with this tip, there's like an extra tip inside of the tip too. Something that I have a friend that she told me that once. I was around my 20s, and when she told me that, I was like, you're crazy, it doesn't make any sense. But nowadays I totally understand what she told me, and what she told me can apply to that too. I used to have a lot of stomach aches, and I was really angry to my stomach. I was really angry to my body. Excuse me. So I was like, I have this horrible stomach ache, I hate that, and blah, blah, blah. And then she told me, Rita, just talk to your stomach. Talk to your stomach and understand the pain, and talk to the stomach and tell your stomach you're fine, everything is fine. You don't need it, to feel this pain. You can, when you talk to your stomach, or you talk to whatever organ or part of your body that you're feeling the pain or the imbalance or the disorder, you can also massage the area with oil and really talk and give like some, kind words, some love, because it's part of you. It's part of your body. So you cannot be angry with some part of your body that is not function the way they're supposed to. So tell that part of your body to function the way it's supposed to, but in a kind way. So this is a really good tip. So now, tip number 3. You identify your thoughts, right? You identify your pain, and you talk to your organ or the part of your body that is not functioning well. Okay. But at the same time, there's something that my dad always used to tell me, and actually when he used to tell me that, I was really angry. But later in life, I thought it was funny, and I thought it was really interesting actually. So he used to tell me, so I had this stomach ache, and then I was complaining like, oh my God, stomach ache. And he used to come and say, but that's a good sign. That means you have a stomach, So I always really, really mad with him when he used to tell me that. But actually, again, it makes sense because, at least you have a stomach, and you have a stomach. The stomach's just out of water, but you have one. So with that, what that means, that even if you're having a pain or having some disorder, or something that is unbalanced or something that is bothering you, don't take too seriously when it comes to talk about this pain all the time and bring this pain into conversations and talk to your friends and family excuse me, about this pain all the time, trying to say, oh, my pain is worse than yours, oh, I've tried everything, and then talk about that, because you're just bringing more and more imbalance and more problems to your current problem. So you don't want to talk about the problem. You just want to let it go. I have a stomach, I have the pain, I'm going to talk to my stomach, and it's going to be fine. Don't feed the problem. Don't feed the disorder, because the negative thoughts and the negative talking will feed the problem, and then you're gonna have the problem forever because you keep talking about it and you're gonna keep bringing up. Okay. All right, so let's go to tip number 4. Tip number 4 is journaling. So actually, I had an event last Saturday. Then one of the ladies asked me, when you're journaling, what should I write down? Like just the things I ate or my emotions? I suggest to write everything. Of course, sometimes when you do some journaling for a specific thing, you have to draw some specific, to write some specific thing. But when it comes to your health in general, I think you can write down everything. So what you ate, what were your emotions during the day, what happened if you had some special episode or something that happened in your life that day. So journaling is an amazing tool to understand your body, understand the signs of your body. So for example, you had you having headaches. If you have this journaling, go back to the last days and identify what you ate, what emotions you had, what kind of stress maybe you had, and try to link with the headache. So that will give you some ideas and will create a path to understand why you're having this headache. So the headache actually is a good sign that is telling you, hey, you ate something, that your body, doesn't like, and then you're having this headache. Or maybe, hey, you had this stressful moment at work, and you could have handled in another way and not letting the stress get into your body and creating a headache. So what you're having, thank you for the heart. For whatever you're having in your body is a sign of something that was going on in your life. So when you're journaling, you can understand that. It's like an enigma, but then you have some of the ideas and some of the signs that is happening in your life that is connected with the headache. So journaling is really, really important. I suggest to do journaling every time you can. Just write it down in a notebook or even a cell phone. Just write it down every time you go back when you're having, whatever you're having, a headache, stomach ache, or whatever. Go back to your notes and you're gonna understand better what is happening. And this is going to give you an idea what you're gonna do to also heal, right? Because if it's something related to food, you're gonna remove that food. If it's something related to a stressful moment, you go back to the moment, understand the stressful moment, and try to use tools to relax and to distress. Okay, so let's go to the last one, the last tip, which is number 5. So number 5 is to find alternatives to heal yourself. So when it comes to listen to your body, what we cannot do, which is going to interrupt that process of listening to your body, is to reach to a medication that is going to cut the possibility of understanding what is going on in your life. Let me explain a little bit, and I'm not saying that if you take a medication every day, that is going to stop taking medication just because of what I'm telling you. I'm just saying, for example, in a case of a headache, you're having a headache, and here I'm telling you a headache, it's bothering you, but you're not like, you cannot function or you cannot talk. You're just having a headache, and then you don't want to feel that pain. Nobody wants to feel any pain, right? So you don't want to feel that pain, and then you just reach to any painkiller for that pain. And then what is happening? You're just cutting the possibility to understand why you're having this headache. And this headache will come back because it is, again, a sign that something that is not, balancing your body. Maybe it is the food you ate. Maybe it was, the stress moment in your job. Maybe was another thing. And then you're cutting. You're just eliminating the possibility to understand the root cause of your headache. So instead of going and reaching for medication to stop your headache right away, try to find different alternatives. Essential oils, drink some water, just a meditation. There's like a lot of possibilities. Rest, sleep. Anyway, try to find alternatives that is not a medication that is going to cut the possibility to understand what is going on inside of your body, and then is going to cut the possibility of activate your inner healing. Okay, so that's it. I hope you guys like it. And again, if you're watching this live after the live is done, leave your comment, leave your like, your heart, everything to help me promote this video. Like I mentioned here in the beginning, I did the same video in Portuguese in last Tuesday at night. This one I'm doing in the morning. Maybe I'm gonna start doing it at night. Sometimes it's better, but I always like to come here and share some tips, some ideas on how you can be healthier and happier in a natural way and in a holistic way. And please leave your questions, your doubts, if you have any. Then I answer right after that. And one important thing that I also already wrote on the text of this live. I'm starting soon a new health coaching group only for women, which is going to be is going to happen during 3 months. And then we're going to focus on healthy weight loss. We're going to focus on listening to your body and understand this connection between these 3 bodies: the physical body, the mental body, and the spiritual body. And that way, you start to heal yourself. You're going to start finding purpose in your life and other important tools to live a better life with more quality. So if you want to join us, I have only 10 spots available, and we're going to start soon. So let me know, get in contact with me as soon as possible so we can start our group. Okay, thank you so much, and bye bye, and see you on the next live. Bye.